Welcome to this week's Garden Rambles. Well, as you can see, we're in a new establishing garden. We've got alders and eucalyptus that have been planted and establishing. We've got a battle going on with kikuyu in the lawns, but the buildings have been put into place and there's lots of beautiful things happening. But one of the buildings that has been put into the garden is a beautiful little studio. And today we're going to meet up with Susan and learn the art, or about the art of felt making. One of the oldest ways of making cloth or fabric known to man, and it's all happening here. And by the end of the segment, you will also have met a very, very ancient sheep. Hi Susan, how's it going?
Hello Michael,
Yeah,
thank you.
Good. What a beautiful, beautiful site you've got up here.
Yes,
How long have you been
very
here?
2.5 years
Yes.
now.
And what was the first thing that you had, or what was on this little block of land?
Nothing,
Yeah,
just grass.
just grass.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and I wanted to create a house that is not too much disturbing the landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to have like 3 sections, the main house on top,
Yeah.
and then the studio a little bit on a lower level, and the garage quite far away.
Yes.
I didn't want to have a garage attached to the house.
No,
Yeah.
that's a nice thing, and then you've got other options, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now your accent says you are not
From
originally from New Zealand. Where are you actually from?
From Switzerland.
Yes, and
Yeah.
what made you want to come to New Zealand?
My husband had a project at the Canterbury University. It's now probably like 4 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, and the whole family came with him. And then he worked for 2 weeks and we were traveling for 2 weeks. And I was convinced New Zealand would be a great place to live with children. So
Lovely.
I convinced my husband to come here
Yes.
and find a job.
Yes, and what
Yeah.
what does he do?
He makes acoustics.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, and you yourself, you're a felt artist.
Yeah.
You come in here. There's lovely felt flowers and there's all sorts of things. How did you get into, first of all, the world of felting?
It was probably more than 10 years ago now. And I was looking for a material that is limitless, that I can create anything I want and still work with colors and design.
All right.
And then I found that felt. And that's really something I was looking for.
Yeah.
You can do objects, thing for everyday use, but also art. It's really limitless. Yeah.
Yes, and the history of felt making. How far back does that go in history?
Several thousand of years,
Yes.
and there are a lot of nice stories how the first felted piece appeared.
Oh, yes. Tell us one of them.
Okay, I think that one that is really nice is of there was just a lot of wool around, and people were sitting on top of that wool, and it was rainy, and they kept sitting there, and because of the moisture, that's turned into a solid fabric afterwards from that sitting and a little bit moving around.
And so that's the first
And then they
yes.
found out, okay,
Yep.
that's how it works.
Yes, and then pick it up, carry it, and mould it, and make
Yes.
a hat or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Now, the actual process of felting. First of all, what are the materials that you're putting into felt, or is it all wool?
It's an animal fiber. It
Yeah.
can be wool from the sheep, but also from llama, alpaca, and all that kind of animals.
Right.
It can also be from Angora. I also use a lot of different fibers just to add some textures like silk.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
Or hemp.
Yes.
Theoretically, you can use everything, but the basic is always wool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And you've down here, we've got something underway. Talk me through the actual process, first of all, of making a piece of felt?
That's how I normally get the wool.
Yes.
It's already processed. If I start with a raw wool, I have to card it first.
Right.
To the carding process. That can be with this machine there,
Yep.
or with the hand carders, like really in a very old time.
Yep.
Yeah. If I have small amounts of a special wool, I do it by hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. And that's just raking it all out and
Yes,
bringing it
yeah.
out. And of course, when they were really being used, television hadn't been invented, so you had plenty of stuff to do in the evening.
Yes, very time consuming.
Yeah.
This is probably the most time consuming part.
Right.
Yeah. So I prefer to jump over that process and just go directly into the wool. So this one is carded.
Right.
It's New Zealand merino.
Right.
Very
Yes.
nice
Oh,
and fine.
isn't it beautiful?
Yeah,
Look
soft.
at that. Two of the finest fibres known.
And this one is carded, and this one here, the process is gone a little bit further.
Yeah.
The short fibers were taken out, it's combed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they are
Yes.
very long and just one direction.
Yes.
I use that kind of product for garments,
Right.
and this one more for objects.
Right. Yeah.
So I have to decide, depending on what I do, which wool I use to get the result
Yes.
I want.
Right. I
Yeah.
see. And so all merino, or some of the old other varieties of
Yes.
sheep have been used.
Yeah, I like to work with Gotland.
Yes.
For example, this cushion is made of Gotland.
Right.
And then there is also alpaca that I like to work with.
Yes.
But things, when I wear on my body, I always use merino.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yes.
merino in combination with silk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the important thing about felting is to lay out the wool crosswise.
Right.
And the thinner you do the layer, the thinner you end up with the wool.
Right. I see. So you.
So if I do the
You're
thicker,
almost doing a warp and a
Yeah.
weft, right? Yes.
yeah. So first layer, and
Yes.
then the second one normally has to overlap by 1/3.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're tiling there as well, isn't
Yes,
it?
like
That's it,
tiles,
that's right,
exactly.
yeah, or thatching.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I do that crosswise.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I already did this here.
Yep.
And then the next process will be of wetting.
Right. Yep.
I need to add some water. Because this process now will open the scales of the fiber,
All right.
and that's how they start to entangle with each other through the friction afterwards that I add. So now I just
Yes.
press it down,
Right. Yep.
and I will get some soap.
Yeah, we've got soap over there.
I use the soap that it's not sticking on my hands.
Ah, I see. Yes, it's.
So because it's now quite a thick felt, it's okay to work like this.
Yeah.
If it was a very thin one, also Nuno felt, I always have to work with the plastic in between.
Right. Yep.
Otherwise I get holes too easily.
Yep.
So, through the friction that I add, the scale open up and they start to entangle with each other,
yeah.
like pine cones in a bag when I'm shaking them.
Yes, I see.
And
yes,
then that's when the felt starts to shrink, and in the end it's really a sturdy fabric.
Yep.
At the beginning the fibers are very loose and delicate, so it's important to almost add no pressure.
Yeah.
And during the process you can feel like it gets more and more stable, and then I have to add more pressure.
Okay. Right.
So now
Really?
I open this,
Oh well.
and then we can add some color.
Yeah.
Now it's like a canvas, an empty
Yes.
canvas.
Yes. So that's your.
Then you can see the difference. It's always important to have dry hands.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Otherwise
yes.
it's not possible to work
Yes.
with the wool.
Yes.
So I add thin layers.
Right. And the same process again.
Yeah. It's not important anymore to do it crosswise.
No, because you've got that base, that's your foundation to work
Yeah.
on.
And then just to show you the difference of the combed one. You can see the difference now.
Yes. And are you doing your own colouring of the wool?
Yes, yeah, sometimes, not always.
No.
The Revital product range from Revital Fertilisers can be completely customised to suit the unique growing conditions on individual farms. Our representatives can arrange a soil test on your farm to identify what is required in your fertiliser mix to obtain the maximum benefit for your pasture or crop. Sustainable pasture is the key to profitable farming. Revital fertilisers contain a diverse microbial population which continue to grow and improve soil fertility and productivity.